Every great story has a beginning. Think about it. The first page of a book, the first step on a long journey, the first word spoken between two people who will one day fall in love. There is a special kind of magic in beginnings. They are full of promise, full of hope, full of mystery. Before anything exists, there is just the possibility of what could be. This is where our story starts. Not just the story of humanity or the story of our world, but the story of everything. It begins on the very first day, a day that holds the blueprint for all the days that would ever follow it. It's a moment of pure potential, waiting to unfold. We often get caught up in the middle of our stories. We worry about what will happen next, or we look back at what has already passed. But it is always helpful to go back to the beginning. Before all the complexity, there was simplicity. Before the noise, there was a quiet intention. The story begins in a state of profound emptiness. The book of Genesis tells us that the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. There was no sun. There was no moon. There were no stars. There was no land. There was no sea. There was no sky. There was only a deep, silent, and endless darkness. It is a description of absolute chaos, a world without order or structure, a state completely alien to us. We live in a world defined by shapes, colors, boundaries. This initial state of nothingness sets the stage for creation from nothing. And then, into this silent, dark void, a voice speaks. The words are simple, yet they carry the weight of all existence. Let there be light. This is not a request. It is not a suggestion. It is a command. A command spoken with authority so absolute the universe has no choice but to obey. In that single moment, the very nature of reality is changed forever. Light, the first element of creation, bursts into existence. It floods the emptiness, filling the void with its brilliance. This is the first action of God, a declaration that chaos will not have the final word. Think about the sheer power in that moment. It was not a struggle. God did not have to fight the darkness. He simply spoke. His word alone was enough to bring forth something as fundamental and powerful as light. After creating light, God performed another profound act. The scripture says, He separated the light from the darkness. This might seem like a simple statement, but it is filled with deep meaning. God did not destroy the darkness. He gave it a place. He created a rhythm, a cycle. He called the light day and the darkness night. By doing this, He established the very concept of time. He created order out of the chaos. The separation was not an act of rejection, but an act of organization. It was the first step in building a world where life could eventually flourish. This separation teaches us that God is a God of order. He does not operate in confusion or chaos. He creates systems, boundaries, patterns. Think about the world around us. We see this principle everywhere. The rhythm of the seasons, the orbit of the planets, the life cycle of a plant. All of these things point to a creator who values structure and design. He took the formless void and began to give it shape. He took the endless darkness and gave it a boundary. This love for order is a fundamental part of God's character, revealed on the very first day of creation. It is a comforting thought that the universe is not random, but is governed by an intelligent and orderly mind. So what does this ancient story mean for us, living in the year 2025? The lessons from the first day of creation are not just historical facts, they are living truths that can really shape our daily lives. First, it teaches us about God's incredible power. The same God who spoke light into a dark universe is with us today. When we face situations that feel dark, empty, or hopeless, like the formless void, we can have faith that God's power is great enough to bring light into our darkest moments. His voice is still powerful enough to create something new and good out of our emptiness. The story also reveals God's deep love for order and goodness. Our lives can often feel chaotic and messy. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by disorder in our homes, our relationships, or even our own minds. The first day reminds us that God is a source of peace and order. We can invite Him into our chaos. We can ask for His wisdom to help us separate the light from the darkness in our own lives, to distinguish what is helpful from what is harmful, what is productive from what is distracting. He is a God who brings structure and purpose to what feels formless. Furthermore, we see God as the ultimate artist. He did not just create light, He saw that it was good. This shows us a God who cares about beauty, quality, and excellence. The most hopeful message of the first day is the promise of new beginnings. No matter what has happened in our past, no matter how dark or empty our circumstances may feel right now, the story of creation declares that a new day is always possible. Your life does not have to remain a formless void. The same God who said, "Let there be light" at the dawn of time can speak that same word into your life today. Every sunrise is a reminder of this promise. It is a daily reenactment of the first day, a symbol that darkness does not last forever and that light will always return. We all have moments that feel like a day one: starting a new job, moving to a new city, the beginning of a new relationship, the decision to change a bad habit. These are our personal creation moments. We can approach them with the same spirit of hope and intention that God showed on the first day. We can speak light into our own situations through our words of encouragement, our acts of kindness, our faith in a positive outcome. We have the ability, as beings made in God's image, to be agents of creation in our own small corners of the world. So, I invite you to think about the darkness in your life. The areas that feel empty, chaotic, or without hope. Do not be afraid of them. Remember that this is where creation begins. It is the blank canvas. Instead of despairing in the darkness, listen for that quiet, powerful voice. Have the courage to say, "Let there be light. Let there be hope. Let there be change. Let there be a new beginning." Your first day is waiting for you. If this message of hope has touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more inspiring content about faith and new beginnings.